when it talks about, I don't know the specific verse, but when it talks about the branches that were cut off and the branches that were grafted back in,
Romans 11.
those are the Israelites.
At the time of the Greeks, they made it an outlaw. We couldn't keep our feast days, right? We couldn't do that. If they found you keeping the Sabbath, you know what happened to? Death. And guess what? We couldn't even call ourselves Jews. Like during the time of the Greeks, if you call yourself a Jew or had an Israelite name, right? My name is whatever, Raphael, Hosea. Oh, you're a Jew? Put them to death today. You following the American customs, right? You shaving your beard. You're not keeping the Sabbath. You're eating pork. You're voting, right? You sincerely think I'm an American. Guess what you are? You're an Israelite by blood, but what did God consider you? A Gentile. When you start adopting Gentile customs, what do you become? Boom, that answers your question. Now go to Maccabees chapter 6. Go back to your question about Gentiles. Watch this.
Second Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
So now, during the time of the Greeks, they made it an outlaw, meaning illegal, for us to keep our Sabbath days. Now we have today's the Sabbath. Like you're supposed to actually keep the Sabbath. Meaning every Saturday there's no buying, no selling, no cooking, and you have to come together, right? Together. Now during the time of the Greeks, they made it an outlaw. We couldn't keep our feast days, right? We couldn't do that. If they found you keeping the Sabbath, you know what happened to? Death. Death. Watch this.
Or ancient peace.
Come on.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So now guess what? We couldn't even call ourselves Jews. Like during the time of the Greeks, if you call yourself a Jew or had an Israelite name, right? My name is whatever, Raphael, Hosea. Oh, you're a Jew? Put them to death. Right. We had to adopt what? Bro, you on the money, bro. We had to adopt Greek names. That's why in the New Testament, there's certain brothers that have Greek names. Like in the Bible, like in Acts, our brother named Demetrius. That's a Greek name. Apollos.
Certain people like different names.
Yeah. Apollos is a Greek name, but that was a mighty man with a Nicholas, because during the time of the Greeks, you had to adopt what kind of customs? Yeah, exactly. Come on.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
So guess what? You want to talk about birthdays? Birthdays is against our culture, bro.
Right.
Birthdays, matter of fact, you have it right in a satanic Bible. It is the most satanic day of all feast days, of all holidays on earth. You know, but think about it. Today we celebrate our birthdays every year. The Greeks, it was every month. So if your birthday was, let's say, the 17th, every 17th, we was forced to go and worship the king. Pagan, right? Watch this, come on.
Moreover, there went out a decree.
Now, a decree is a law, right? There went out a law
to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews.
So like you said, a mandate. So, you know, for example, remember during COVID, they put different mandates out today and whatever. They put a mandate or requirement, listen, against the Jews, against us. Watch this.
That they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
So what were we forced to do?
Partake of their sacrifice.
Bro, meaning it was a law on the Greek law that we had to follow their sacrifices. You understand that? Or else it was death. That's why in the book of Maccabees, we had secret caves. We had caves that we went to worship in secret because we were scared of being put to death. Right. You understand that? Watch this, come on.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles.
Read that part again.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles.
So whoever said, I'm not going to follow the custom of the Gentiles, what happened?
Shall be put to death.
For what?
Shall be put to death.
So now, my brother, when you start adopting Gentile customs, what do you become? Boom, that answers your question. I know it was a little long route.
No, but I needed to hear
that's how it is. So now, watch this. When you read the New Testament now, give me Romans chapter 2, verse 9. Watch this.
Romans chapter 2, verse 9. Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jews first, and also of the Gentiles.
So don't get it twisted. That's not talking about the entire earth. He's saying what? God is going to judge you, right, based on your evil works. Meaning the Jew first. Who are the Jews? The Jews are the first three tribes. Read on this sign. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Right? And the Gentile are all those other tribes that were converted to what custom? The custom of the Gentiles.
Okay, hold on.
You understand that?
I needed to hear that. So the first three tribes are Jews.
They're considered the Jews.
Okay,
the Jews.
and then the rest is...
That's in the New Testament. They're considered the Gentiles.
Okay.
Or the scattered Israelites.
All right.
You understand that? So now the point is this. When you read the word Gentile, James 1:1. James 1:1. Just to bring it back home. The Bible verse is only about salvation for the Jews, the Israelites. But understand that. The word in the New Testament, when it talks about, I'll make it plain and simple. When it talks about salvation for the Gentiles, it's talking about who? The Israelites. Condemnation, judgment to the Gentiles going to the other nations. Simple like that. You understand that? Now, James 1:1.
James chapter 1 verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes.
To the what?
To the 12 tribes, which are scattered abroad. Greeting.
Boom. So who is this for again? The 12 tribes that are scattered. Scattered. You understand that? So we became Gentiles during the times when we was forced to keep what customs? Exactly. It's Matthew 4:17. Good. I forgot about that. And they give me John 7 after that. You know what I want? Watch this.
Matthew chapter 4 verse 15. The land of Zebulun.
Now stop. You know what Zebulun is? Zebulun is my tribe. Watch this. Zebulun, right here on the sign, are the people that are from Central America, Guatemala to Panama. That's what Zebulun is today. Right? So watch this.
The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali.
What Naphtali is? Naphtali? Look at the sign again. Naphtali is Argentina and Chile. Those two countries make up the tribe of Naphtali. So again, now look, boom. Two Israelite tribes. Look what God says. Come on.
By the way of the sea.
Top again.
The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. By the way of the sea. Beyond Jordan. Galilee of the Gentiles.
Galilee of who?
Of the Gentiles.
Why? Why would now remember, what were these two tribes being called right there? They were called what? They were labeled as what? Gentiles. They're Israelites, but why were they labeled Gentiles? Because those two tribes at that time were keeping what customs?
Oh, the other customs.
Exactly. But again, two Israelite tribes were referred to as Gentiles. Now, are they Gentiles by blood? No. That's why Paul said, remember that ye were Gentiles carried away to what? Idols. So like today, right? The modern example. Today, you following the American custom, right? You shaving your beard. You're not keeping the Sabbath. You're eating pork. You're voting, right? You sincerely think I'm an American. Guess what you are? You're an Israelite by blood, but what did God consider you? A Gentile. Right. Same exact thing. All our people right now stuck on the American culture. They're Israelites, right, by blood, but they're considered as Gentiles. So the same thing was happening there in that time. Now give me John.
John chapter 7 verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go?
It's talking about Christ. Where will Christ go? Watch this.
That we shall not find him. Will he go into the dispersed?
Will he go to the dispersed?
Among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles.
So they're asking, will he go to the dispersed that are among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Now remember, we read it before. Who are those that were dispersed? Bro, Josh, man, you got it, bro. You got it. So again, so he go unto the scattered Israelites that are what?
Among the Gentiles.
Because they're among the Gentiles.
And teach the Gentiles.
So what are they being called right there? The dispersed.
The Gentiles.
Boom. But they're Israelites. Again, Acts 2:5.
So
yes, sir.
These people, when it talks about, I don't know the specific verse, but when it talks about the branches that were cut off and the branches that were grafted back in,
Romans 11.
Those are the Israelites.
Bro, let's go to, I'm sorry, Joe. Let's go to Romans 11. Watch this. Romans 11. Bring it up. Matter of fact, Romans 11, all you gotta do is just read a couple verses and give you the context of the whole verse. Remember, let's start with verse 1. Get the context of the branches. Come on.
Romans chapter 11 verse 1. I say then, has God cast away his people?
Because that was a question back then too. Has God cast away the 12 tribes of Israel? We don't?
God forbid.
Hell no. God will never put away his people. Never. Come on.
For I also am an Israelite.
Because what did Paul say?
For I also am an Israelite.
Paul said, I am also an Israelite. The same way Joshua an Israelite. We are the Israelites. Read on.
Of the seed of Abraham.
Of the seed of Abraham.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
So that's heavy because Paul today will be considered a West Indian, so-called Jamaican, so-called Trinidadian. You understand that? That's the tribe Paul came from, Benjamin. You understand that? So Paul's saying, nah, God ain't with his people because I am also an Israelite. From what tribe? Benjamin. Now watch this. The word is Bible dictionary, right? We have the actual book, that's fine. The definition of Gentile says usually it means a non-Israelite people. You understand that? So now, is the word usually always? No. So that's why, because in the Old Testament, most times it's talking about the other nations, but in the New Testament, it's referring to what? Israelites that was keeping Gentile customs. So here you go. Now watch this. I'm gonna get a verse you wanted first.
Romans chapter 11 verse 17.
That's what you referring to, John.
And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree.
So boom. Now Christians try to say, you see, now all nations are grafted in. Bro, all you gotta do is read down. Read down to verse 26.
Verse 26. And so all Israel.
And so what?
And so all Israel.
So branches that was now grafted in are what?
Shall be saved.
Shall what?
Shall be saved.
Hey, Josh, if you don't actually go in detail, there's a lot of history you gotta read, Josh.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, His word.